Hey everyone, DB Plays 14 here, and today I am recording a tier list video. Sorry that the camera isn't the best, but I gotta work with what I gotta work with, so yeah. But yeah, I'm doing almost every single Sonic character from the games. I'm not including the comics because I haven't read them. So for right now, I'm putting them in this tier. I'm putting them in the IDW tier for right now. So yeah. Starting off with Sonic. No question asked. S tier. If I put Sonic anywhere else, I feel like that would just be a crime. He's the main character of the franchise for a reason. And I feel like, I will admit, like back then, maybe his character wasn't the best, but over the years, Sega has developed him as a character. And classic Sonic, man, that's tough. I don't think he's as good as modern, even though between the two, I like both of them. But I'm putting classic in A tier because he can't talk in Generations and all that, but again, I don't think he's bad. Next up is Eggman, and this is another S tier. Like, literally, Eggman is one of the most iconic villains in gaming. So if I put him anywhere else, it would just be a crime. Alright, moving on to Tails. I think Tails, like back in the adventure games, is a really good character. And then during like the 2010s, they made him, like, they took away a lot from Tails over the years. And then in Frontiers, they really did a good job with his character in Frontiers, knowing how inconsistent he is throughout the series. But because of his moments in Forces, that one cutscene that just ruined his character, I'm putting him in A tier for right now. I may change this list later. And then we have... And also for the record, I'm not putting the other classic characters on here yet, besides Mighty and Ray, and some other ones. Next we have Metal, and again, like Eggman, Metal is one of the most iconic villains in gaming. So if I put him anywhere else, it would just be a crime. And literally he is Sonic's equal. He is Sonic's rival, and a really good rival. Alright, next up is Amy, and I actually do like Amy as a character. I know some people hate Amy, but I don't. I don't hate Amy. Although I will admit, Sega has toned her down a little bit. Like that one cutscene from Sonic X Shadow Generations where she punched Knuckles. In the original game, she punched Knuckles into a tree. But since they have toned her down, but she's still a really good character, so I'm putting her in A. I'm putting her in A. Next up is Knuckles, and I originally considered putting this character in B tier due to the fact that Sega made him not the smartest tool in the shed. But over the years, they have fixed him. And I do like his character moments in Sonic Frontiers. So I'm putting him in S tier. Like, I think if they can work on his character a bit more, he can be, well, yeah, I would leave him there. All right, next up is Mighty and Ray, and they only have Knuckles Chaotix, and they're only in Knuckles Chaotix, and they're only in Mania as well. I'm gonna put them in C tier for right now. I know they're in the comics. I haven't read them. Sorry. Next is Fang, and I'm not really the biggest fan of Fang, the sniper, but he's not terrible. So for right now, I'm putting him in C tier as well. And then we have Vector, which I think he's the best member of Team Chaotix. But again, he's not. I don't think he's S tier though. I like his detective. I like his moments in Sonic Heroes and all the other games in the series. But he really doesn't get too many games. Like, he's not in that many games. He's just a side character. But I will put him in A tier. Next is Espio. And I think Espio, in my opinion, is one of the coolest characters. But like Vector, he hasn't appeared in many games, and he's just a side character that doesn't get any character development. But I will admit he's pretty cool, so I'll put him in B tier. And then I'm putting, for right now, I'm putting Charmy in C tier. Sometimes, well, okay, I'll just put him in, I'll put him in B tier for right now. Next up is Tails Doll, and this is a very hard one since the whole creepypasta thing, and this character originated from Sonic R, but he doesn't really do anything. And I kind of do wish Eggman made a metal version of Tails, but because of the creepypasta thing, I'm putting him in C tier. Metal Knuckles is not the best character, so for right now, I'm putting him in D tier because he really doesn't do much. I don't really want to count Egg Robo on this list. And then, oh, I forgot their names. They're part of Fang's group. I forgot their names, so I'm putting them. I remember his name. I remember it's Bark, but I don't remember this guy's name. But I'm putting them. Actually, hold on. I'm putting them in D tier for right now. And then I have no idea who this guy is. Like, I don't know who that is. But I'm just gonna leave him right there since I don't know who he is. And then we have Chaos, which this is a tough one for me because I kind of like his design, but also I know he's like one of the most, like, he's one of the best Sonic villains, but I don't know. I'm not really the biggest fan of him. And I don't really like, he doesn't really have a good personality in my opinion, but I will put him in B tier for right now. Next up is Gamma, and I don't even need to explain myself on that one. Tikal is next up, and she's only in Adventure. She's only been in Sonic Adventure, but she is a pretty good character, so I'll put her in B tier. And next, Yep, I did do that. Alright, next up is the Edgelord himself, Shadow, and like Sonic and all the other characters in S tier, I would get a lot of comments saying Shadow should go in S tier. So I agree with that. If Shadow Gens did not improve his character, I probably would have put him in A tier, but S tier is great. S tier is a good place for him. Next is Rouge, and like Amy, they've toned her down a bit. I mean, I know fans still are angry at what they did in Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm not going to talk about it, but her character in Adventure 2, 06, and well, that's about it. I liked her character in 06 and Adventure 2, but that's about it. So I'm putting her in A tier for right now. Next is Maria. Maria! And since Shadow Generations really did a good job on Maria, on like the character, on the story, I'm putting her in B tier. Actually, no. A tier. And then Gerald Robotnik is going in B tier. I really like what they did with these two characters. And I'm glad Sega or Sonic Team improved on their character. And next up is the Chao, including Omochao. And I want to make this very clear here. I don't hate the Chao. I like the Chao. However, the main reason why I'm putting them in F tier is because of Omochao themselves. Or himself, whatever. I'm putting them in F tier. Okay? Okay. Next up is Black Doom, and again with Shadow Generations kind of improving his character, but at the same time, he's not an interesting villain. He's not the best, but he's not the worst. So for right now, I'm putting him in C tier. He hasn't gotten any other game appearances other than Shadow 5 and Shadow Generations. So, yeah. Alright. Next up is the Gun Commander, or Commander Abraham Towers from Shadow 5. I'm putting him in D tier for right now because he could have been a really good character if Shadow 05 wasn't as edgy as it was. But no, they had to ruin that. They did make his character a bit better in Dark Beginnings, but other than that, D tier. Next is the President, and he really doesn't do anything else in Adventure 2 or Shadow 5, so I'm putting him right there for right now. Next is Omega, and I actually do like this character. I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but he is a pretty cool character. He has a cool design, and in Sonic Heroes 06 and Dark Beginnings, he's a really cool character. So I'm putting him in B tier. And I don't need to explain myself for the next one. Silver is my favorite character in the entire franchise. Doesn't need to be said. And then I've talked about Blaze, and then Blaze is going in S tier as well. She's one of my favorite characters as well. And then alright, there we go. Next up is Mephiles the Dark, and In my opinion, Mephiles is one of the best Sonic villains, and one of the most underrated ones. Because I really like his design. I like his voice lines. And it still shocks me that he is the only one to kill Sonic. So, he's going in S tier. Deal with it. Anyway, next up is Cream the Rabbit. And the thing with Cream that bugs me is that she doesn't really get... She's not really in any other games. After Sonic Heroes, she gets sidelined. She's in Shadow 5, the Advanced series, and Generations, and then that's it. So for right now, I'm putting her in B tier. I really like her as a character, but I wish she had more game appearances. And I'm putting Vanilla in there as well, since she only has 2 game appearances. Next is Chip, and I'm putting him in A tier because his character arc in Sonic Unleashed is one of the best ones in the entire series, and it was really sad at the end of the game. So overall, I'm putting him in A tier. And next up is Professor Pickles, I think his name was. But in my opinion, I would say he is the best human character in the series and in the games. But he's not the best character, so I'm just putting him in B tier for right now, and we're skipping Sally. Next is Orbot and Cubot, and I'm not really the biggest fan of them. I mean, they're really there just for jokes, but I'm just gonna put them in C tier and move on. The Wisp. I would put them in C tier as well. Alright, next up is the Deadly Six, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but the only one... I do kind of like Zavok as a character, or Zavok, whatever. I kind of like him as a character and as a villain, but I will admit he's not the best. And he's not a Bowser clone, but I'm putting him in B tier for right now. I'm putting him in B tier. And then the other ones, Zaz isn't a terrible villain, but I do like how insane he is sometimes as a character. This one goes in D tier. Master Zik goes in D tier. I don't remember all their names, so... Alright. Next up is Infinite the Jackal, and... It's a very hard thing to talk about because Infinite was not really that good of a villain in his debut game, and he's only had 1 game appearance in total. But he's not D tier. He's not D tier. I'm gonna put him... I would put him in C tier for right now. He isn't the best villain, but he's not the worst. Although it's just... The writing in Forces was not good. Alright, next up is the Avatar character from Forces, and... I don't know how to feel about this character. I mean, he's not bad, but... I don't know. I would just put him with Infinite, to be honest, but that's just me. Alright, I'm skipping this character as well since I haven't played The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. So next up is Trip, and I actually do like this character. Her character arc in Sonic Superstars is really good, and I like her dragon form, and I think it's pretty cool. So I'm putting her in A tier. I think she's a cool character and has one of the best character arcs in the franchise. Next is Marine the Raccoon, and she only has one game appearance. One. And I kind of liked her character, but sometimes she is annoying. But overall, she's a decent character. Next is Styx the Badger, and I kind of like and hate this character. I mean, she's not a terrible character, but I'm not the biggest fan of her. But I will give her a B tier. No, not A tier. B tier. But my opinion may change. And I do kind of hope that she makes an appearance in another mainline game. Or makes an appearance in a mainline game. Next is General. And I think he's a decent villain, but not the best. So for right now, I'm putting him in C tier. Next up is Dodonpaw from Team Sonic Racing and Sonic Racing Crossworlds. But he's not really an interesting character, so I'm putting him in D tier. Next up is the Babylon Rogues and Jet the Hawk. Jet is an interesting character, but I would say, and this is just my opinion, he's probably the weakest rival Sonic has, but he's not terrible, but I will put him in B tier for right now. And then I think that's Wave. Yeah, that is Wave. Wave is going in C tier. She's just annoying in Sonic Riders. And Storm is also going in C tier. He really doesn't have anything else to him. And I'm skipping Chris Thorndike since he's from Sonic X, and that's a show. Although he would go in F tier, I'm saying that now. But anyway, next up is Sage, and I really liked her character arc in Sonic Frontiers. And it was actually kind of sad to see her make that sacrifice at the end of the main campaign. It was really sad. And her relationship with Eggman is one of the best in this series. So I'm putting her in A tier. Next up is Eraser Jin, sorry. And I don't really like this character. He's just a generic villain. Although I will admit he's one of the most powerful beings Sonic has fought. He's not really a good villain, and his voice actor doesn't really do the best job. So I'm putting him there for right now. And then we have King Arthur from Black Knight. And I'm putting him in D tier because he really doesn't do anything. Other than the fact he has a cool design and his boss fights are cool. One of them is cool and the other is one of the hardest ones. So I'm putting him in D tier. Next up is Shara, and she only has one game appearance in Secret Rings, but she is a pretty decent character. So I would put her in B tier for right now. Next up is Merlina from Black Knight, and without question, A tier. Merlina is one of the best written villains. Like, her character arc throughout Black Knight is one of the best in the franchise. And you can understand her as a villain. And just to skip these two, I'm putting them in D tier. They really don't offer anything. And then we have Mecha Sonic, which, again, I haven't read those comics, but in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, he only shows up on Sky Sanctuary. But he's a pretty good boss fight, so I'll put him in B tier for right now. Next, we have the Hardboiled Heavies, and I think these characters are interesting. I think they're pretty cool, but not the best villains in the franchise. But I do like the final boss for the game against the Heavy King, so I'll put him in B tier. And the others, I'll put them in C tier. They're cool. They're kind of cool, like, enemies, but they're not the best villains in the franchise. And we're skipping these guys. And next up is the characters from Sonic Shuffle. And they're immediately getting F tier because I haven't played Sonic Shuffle. I've heard it's a bad game. I don't really care. End of story. Next up is Lyric, and I haven't played Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I don't want to. But I will admit he's not that terrible of a villain. But he's not the best either, so I'll just put him... He does have a good origin story, but he barely does anything throughout the game, so there you go. C tier. Next up, I'm putting him right in the same tier as Elise. I don't even need to explain myself. And last but certainly not least, we have Big the Cat. And I actually like Big the Cat. I think he's not the best character in the franchise, but I think he's a good character. So overall, I'm putting him in A tier. I think he's a funny character, and I don't know. I just like him as a character. But anyway, guys and gals, that's the end for this video. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with my choices. I will update this list eventually, but just let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.